Now, granted, I'm not a celebrity. I'm not a Grammy Award winner. I'm not selling out stadiums and concerts and things like that. But I'm like, can I get an MCU cameo? I know Megan Thee Stallion probably has to be living her best life because she is a nerd. She's an anime fan, superhero fan. She talks about it in her music. So I know she's got to be super happy to be making her debut in the MCU in a She-Hulk show. Like, body yada 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 yada. And welcome to my Safe Gayven. Thank you guys for clicking on this video and joining me for another review here on the Black Gay Comic Geek channel. If this is your first time checking me out, hey, how's it going? My name is Michael. I call myself the Black Gay Comic Geek. And I always say the things that I love to talk about on my channel has blood, sex, gore, and magic, or any variation of the force. I like to talk about superheroes. I like to talk about comic books. I like to talk about action movies. I like to talk about horror movies. I like to talk about fantasy. I like to talk about sci-fi. And I like to talk about black representation and queer representation. So if that's something that you are interested in, if you think representation matters and representation equals normalization, and you like the fact that there is a black, gay, YouTuber on the internet, do me a favor and let's continue to help this channel grow, get more eyes on it. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. It'll really help with the YouTube algorithm. Watch, like, share, comment, interact on this video for the all gay rhythm. Shout out, even though this video is not sponsored, I bought this shirt, but I really love this shirt that I've got from Fashion Nova, She-Hulk shirt. They also got another shirt because Dr. Doom is one of my favorite villains. I saw a Dr. Doom shirt on there. Definitely need to get one. I'm like, with all this promotion I'm doing for Fashion Nova, y'all need to sponsor me, even though I highly doubt anybody from Fashion Nova is seeing this video. But hey, Fashion Nova, hit your boy up. Anyway, we're here to talk She-Hulk Episode 3, The People versus Emil Blonsky. And you know what? Because the last two She-Hulk reviews, I didn't do spoilers. But because I haven't really had time to go live with Frankie and Ron, because, you know, lately it's hard to get, because Frankie's super busy lately. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do spoilers for She-Hulk, at least to give you my perspective from here on out for these episodes. So if you couldn't tell from the title, I'm telling you right now, and I kind of already did it for the intro, spoilers for She-Hulk Episode 3. And the synopsis is, She-Hulk represents Emil Blonsky, aka the Abomination, but his parole hearing doesn't go as planned. But yeah, like it says in the synopsis, things didn't go according to plan because Jennifer Walters, she thought she had this in the bag. She thought this was an easy case to win to get Emil Blonsky out of prison. But like we saw from the end of episode 2, that footage leaked from Shang-Chi where we saw Abomination fighting Wong, and it kind of puts the timeline together where we obviously know this show takes place a little bit right after Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And so the footage leaked of him and Wong fighting. We also got a little bit more backstory to that, where Wong was using that and why they were fighting in the pit in Shang-Chi in the first place. And Wong was using that as more training for him to be Sorcerer Supreme, more or less. And he kind of forced Abomination into doing that. And I kind of like and dislike the route that they're going with Abomination, because they're basically trying to redeem him and make him seem like he's not really a villain. And obviously, if you go back and think about the very first Incredible Hulk movie, or not the first one, but the one with Edward Norton, like, yeah, Emil Blonsky was played by Tim Roth. He was considered a hero. He was a military hero, and he thought he was doing right for his country, because you had Ross, the general of the military, saying that Hulk is a threat, Hulk is dangerous, Hulk needs to be put down. So yeah, Blonsky thought what he was doing would be, by becoming Abomination, he thought he was doing right by the government. So that makes sense in him thinking that way. He just got injected with this serum that made him more or less lose his mind and lose control. But at the same time, I still don't like the fact that, because it almost seems like at every turn Marvel's continue to like get rid of its villains or sympathize, like even somebody like a Loki. We sympathize with Loki now. Or like somebody like a Baron Zemo. He's more of a sympathetic villain. He's not even really a villain at this point anymore, even though he technically still is. Like, look at what he did at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Spoilers for that. And killing off all the remaining people with the super soldier serum. Now we get Abomination. We're sympathizing with him. Like, I still kind of want villains to be villains. I don't mind redemption story. Like, again, Buffy the Vampire Slayer is one of my favorite shows. Like, I love the character of Spike. Especially talk about villain turn hero. Even Angel, villain turn hero, or Faith, villain turn hero. But like, I still want my villains to be villains. But regardless, I continue to love this show. And yeah, this show, it continues to show that it's more a law show than it is a superhero show. It just has superhero elements in it. Now, the thing about this show, at least this episode in particular, this is like my one negative about this episode. I don't know. I feel like the CGI for this episode for She-Hulk was a little off. Like, not even just in the terms of how she looked. Like, I don't even think it looked as good as the first two episodes. Like, just in the way, like, her movements and how she looked compared to like interacting with the people in the real world, or moments where she picked up a cup and started drinking of it. I was like, yeah, the CGI for this episode really doesn't look all that polished. Like, it looks less polished in the third episode than it did the first two episodes. So that's really my biggest criticism for this episode. But with that said, I love seeing the cameos in this show, and I wish there was more of that throughout the Marvel Cinematic Universe just in general, because that's something that you can do in the comics. Like, while yes, it is an X-Men book, you'll see Captain America, Doctor Doom, Spider-Man swinging at us, because for the most part, they're all located in New York, so it would make sense that they run into each other at a certain point. Now, granted, She-Hulk takes place in California, Los Angeles, and not New York, so it might be a little harder, but at the same time, considering she is a superhero lawyer, and really, as far as I know, the only one, it would make sense that she has a lot of interaction with the greater superhero Marvel universe. And so, like, seeing, like, the Asgardian elf from New Asgard, I love that. The fact that Wong showed up in the show. Speaking of cameos, I did love the moment in the beginning of this episode where Jennifer Walters broke the fourth wall and she was like, look, I know you're excited to see Wong. I know you're excited about the cameos and all that. But still remember at the end of the day whose show this is. And that's something that I'm glad they actually said. And that also goes to show that Marvel and the writers for this show are very self-aware. They definitely check out the Twitter threads and all this other stuff, because even with that, like, and just the discourse for She-Hulk, I still see people, the only reason I'm watching this is this for Daredevil. The only reason I'm watching this is for this person or that person. It's like, at the end of the day, this is a She-Hulk show. You need to be watching it for She-Hulk, not the cameos. Because if you're just watching it for the cameos, you're going to be disappointed because they're not going to play that big of a role. It's just cool to see them interact in these circumstances. And again, like I said in episode 1, I believe, that's exactly what I wanted for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., because they're so entrenched in the Marvel universe, they should be having tons of cameos and interactions with the greater universe in their show. Like, that's something, like, think about like the Netflix shows from Daredevil. Like, I thought it would have made sense for a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent to show up in those shows. Like, you got the Devil of Hell's Kitchen showing up. You would think S.H.I.E.L.D. would want to investigate that, to be like, is this guy a metahuman? Is he a threat? Luke Cage, you would think S.H.I.E.L.D. would investigate that. Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, etc. It doesn't have, and it didn't have to be somebody from the show. It could have been just a person, a different actor, kind of like how Rosario Dawson was in all the Netflix shows, how she was connected. There could have been a one S.H.I.E.L.D. agent that traveled through all the shows to investigate, especially with all the Inhuman stuff going on with S.H.I.E.L.D. And back then, that's when they were saying everything was connected. That's what I wanted. But it seems like we're finally getting that with at least She-Hulk. And also, speaking of things I love, that Marvel being super self-aware, I love the moment where the one guy yelled into the crowd, I heard the Avengers didn't want you on the team, and then the news media ran with it. Like, rumor is nobody from the Avengers wanted She-Hulk on the team. And it's like, that's literally what happens in today's society. Like, one person would tweet something on the internet, be like, oh, I heard from a source that Doctor Strange is going to be in Miss Marvel. Then all of a sudden, a rumor on the internet, rumors have it that Doctor Strange is going to be, what are your sources? Who's telling you? Like, that's literally what happens today. Or the moment where, like, people are like, why does because I'm literally dealing with this now with regards to this show, both on YouTube and on TikTok, where it's just like, oh, I don't care about female superheroes, just make your own. Or why are all the male superheroes, like, it's literally real life. Like, that was taken from real life. Like, just go back and look through the comment section of my She-Hulk videos, again, on TikTok and YouTube. I made several videos about it. So it's like, that's real life. Or even like the young black kid, like, oh, She-Hulk, I'd smash. Like, It's real. It's real. I've seen all those comments, so I just love how self-aware they are with this show. I even liked the B storyline that was happening during this episode. I think his name is Dennis Bukowski, and obviously the guy is over the top. This is supposed to be a comedy. This isn't like a serious MCU show. So of course he's an over-exaggerated, entitled male character. So anybody that decides to get mad at that, whatever, it's like there are plenty of over-exaggerated characters in comics, or not comics, but in comedies. But like and the reason I like the storyline is just because like you get to see like how normal people are living or experiencing the greater MCU world, like what's happening as more and more superheroes, or not superheroes, but superpowered people inhabit Earth. So we have a whole tribe of Asgardians now on Earth. What happens when one of them is a shapeshifter? And so you end up dating one that you thought was Megan Thee Stallion. So it just shows how regular people are interacting with the greater MCU. And I like that. Like, he took an Asgardian elf to basically people's court. And even the fourth wall break by Jennifer Walters towards the end, when she's like, hey, you see how the AB story are connecting in this episode? Like, that was brilliant. And I did make a video about this on TikTok, so I'm gonna say it on here. But like, something I was wondering, and go back and watch the episode, maybe you'll see something that I missed. But like, if you look at Emil Blonsky's cell, like, it's completely open. Like, you can see everything. But like, in the cell, I saw a sink and I saw a toilet, but I didn't see a shower. So I'm like, is this man not allowed to shower? And then also, being that it's so open in the middle of everything, there's like literally no type of privacy. Even prisoners in the real world have some level of privacy because, yeah, the front of the prison is open, but the sides are enclosed. And then plus there's like lights out, so it gets completely dark in a prison. So there's some level of privacy in a prison. I'm like, what if Emil Blonsky wants to like jerk off or something like that? There's like no, again, even like a shower, he can't shower, like, or even if there is a shower in his cell, so he's got to shower in front of everybody. I'm like, there's no, like, you can't tell me that man's not jerking off. So basically everybody in the prison has seen his Abomination. Maybe that's why he has so many different pen pals or something. I don't know, but that was just something I was wondering. That's where my mind goes when I watch certain shows. But I'm like, whatever. But also, I feel like another potential tease that they introduced in She-Hulk, maybe not intentionally, but it's something I noticed. So we already know that mutants are in the MCU. They referenced that Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, is a mutant. If you saw the Easter egg from episode 2, and I talked about it on here, they did reference that Wolverine is in the MCU, where they talked about man with claws, metal claws, gets in bar fight. So we know the mutants are here. We know the mutants are eventually coming. Marvel, Disney now owns the rights to X-Men. More than likely, they're going to come after probably Secret Wars. At least X-Men are going to come after Secret Wars, but they're going to I feel like they're going to slowly introduce mutants. I mean, they already did with Miss Marvel. But like, I do kind of feel like there was somewhat of a mutant reference or a storyline with the mutants where after the trial of Dennis Bukowski, he was like, talking about the elf, like, man, I wish there was a way that we could just take away her powers. That instantly made me think about the storyline with X2, which is also a reference in the comics with the Astonishing X-Men storyline of the mutant cure. But then also there was a moment after Emil Blonsky got out of prison, one of the conditions of his parole was that he has to wear an inhibitor collar. And there's a storyline with the origins of this island called Genosha, which Magneto eventually ended up taking over and making into a mutant safe haven. But before that, it was an island where mutants were forced into basically mutant slavery, and they wore an inhibitor collar. And there's also a reference to that, or a whole episode dedicated to that in the 90s X-Men series called Slave Island. So I'm like, I wonder if this is a reference or them just putting the cards on the table for an eventual storyline that's going to happen when we get mutants. Basically mutant concentration camps, because that's what Genosha was in the beginning. But anyway, I really like this episode. Megan Thee Stallion, you could tell that they only had her for a certain amount of time, because there was a moment after I knew she was in this episode, I rewound that courtroom scene and I was looking at the background of the people in the courtroom, and I didn't see Megan anywhere, but then they cut to another shot, and she's back there like, yeah, there's only one real. I was like, where'd she come from? So clearly they only had her for that one day, so she couldn't sit in the whole courtroom. So they should have probably did better with the editing, but that post-credit scene with She-Hulk and Megan twerking, I don't know, I just found that so lighthearted, and like, I found it fun. Like, And like, I don't know, I just liked it. Megan Thee Stallion's in the MCU. But yeah, I really liked this episode. I thought this episode was fun. I'm really loving She-Hulk so far. 3 episodes in, yeah, this is probably turning out to be one of my favorite, or my favorite Disney Plus show so far. But anyway, that's enough about me talking about She-Hulk Attorney at Law. The question is, what do you guys think about She-Hulk Attorney at Law? Let me know all of your thoughts. Well, again, like, share, comment, interact on this video. Hopefully you made it to the end of this video. Like, share, comment, interact on this video for the all gay rhythm. If you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor and hit me with a flex emoji in the comment section. Also, if this is your first time checking out one of my videos, please check out the other videos on my channel. If you like what you see, please subscribe for more and hit that bell notification button so you're alerted every single time I post a new video. Tell your friends, families, and neighbors about my channel to help me continue to grow. And as always, I will catch you guys next time.